friend Alexia. Her name's Alexia.
2, 1. Well, thank you very much for this.
Wait. Welcome to my channel. I am Rafaela, and I'm here today with Joy.
Hi guys.
Hey Joy, so thank you for being on the channel today.
Thanks for having me.
It's an honor. I'm excited for you to come and share, your experience, your wisdom with us. But first, starting, I suppose it would be nice for you to introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you enjoy doing in your spare time? What sector do you work in?
Yeah.
What is your current role?
Yeah.
I think that's it.
So yeah, like Alexia said, my name's Joy. My current role is contracts manager. So I work in the legal sector, but within the technology field. In terms of what I do in my spare time, I am just really normal. I think the older I've gotten, the more I spend with my family. So the majority of my spare time is just doing different activities with my family, essentially.
Oh, that's
very
cute.
wholesome.
That is so cute. I love it. Right, so I've written some of the questions.
Right.
So if you see me looking at my phone, that is why. But yeah, so I think when I first reached out to people on social media to ask for people to come and speak on the channel, what I really loved was that as far as I was concerned, you were a lawyer. I just knew you did law.
Yeah.
And then obviously when we spoke, you said that you wanted to kind of step away from your traditional law, and do something different, and that really interested me. So my question is this something that you knew from the beginning when you went to university? I don't want to be the traditional lawyer, I want to go into something else. Or as you were studying, did your interests change slightly? And if so, did that affect your studies at all?
Yeah. I think prior to university, I actually wasn't really sure I wanted to do law. So when I was in sixth form and when I was doing my GCSE and then doing my A-levels, I was really the type of person that I knew that I was relatively good at academics. I was good at everything, but I didn't really master one thing, or I didn't really want to master one thing because I was really confused at that age. And it all started, my dad really just said, oh, you're very opinionated, why don't you do law? And I literally, ever since then, I ran with it. I was like, oh, okay. My dad said I should do law, so I should do law. So yeah, obviously I went to university and I did that. But whilst I was in university, I did a lot of work experience in my first year in my hometown. And that's when I realised, I can't be around this environment. But obviously I was already starting my degree, but I liked the technical aspect of law. I just didn't like the environment that I would be working in, what I thought that I would be working in once I did qualify and finish university, etc. So literally it was first year uni, I said, I like law, but I don't like this traditional route. It wasn't for me and I wasn't for them. So I learned really quickly.
I like that though. So did that affect then, what was it mainly, what subjects you picked during your degree?
No, so what do you mean in terms of?
So because you're still in law now. Yeah, but then it's just law and tech. So then.
Yeah. So like I said, I enjoy law as a subject. I think it's really interesting. I think I really enjoy the fact that there's a lot of grey area and you can really argue your point across. So there's no there's a right answer, but it just depends on your delivery of the argument. Yeah. So I really did enjoy law. I just didn't want to go down the private practice route. Okay. So yeah, that's like the traditional route. Sort of, you finish university, you do your LPC, you get your training contract, and then most people work in a private practice firm, so they work for an actual law firm. Yeah. But like I said, I realised really quickly that I didn't want to be in that private practice firm environment, just because it just wasn't suited for me. Yeah. So I quickly realised that I always enjoyed business. I was always quite business savvy, but again, there wasn't one particular thing that I was really a master at. I was saying, okay, this is the business I want to go into. Yeah. But I like sort of the operations side, the logistics side of operating in a business. So it was actually in my second year that I realised there was a separate side of law, so you could actually become in-house. So that's where you work for a business, but you work in their legal department. And because you're working in a business, you can touch on different aspects of the business itself. So it's not solely, like you're using your legal knowledge,
yeah.
but you're getting to touch into different aspects of just the business environment. So yeah, I realised that in second year, and then yeah, after that I was like, yeah, this is me. This is me.
I love that. Do you know whether that's just in the UK that you have the possibility to do that, or in other countries?
Yeah, I know in America there is a possibility to do that, but it's not as publicised as it is in the UK. In Nigeria and African continents, probably not. It's probably just not an option. Yeah. So I think in most countries there probably is an option. It just depends on how publicised or how well aware people are of that option.
Thank you, because obviously I'm aware that we have some international viewers, so it's always nice to bring in those little extra gems. But yeah, so I have another question for you. So for a very long time, obviously certain sectors such as the tech, field were very male saturated. So I'm just intrigued to know your experience as a woman, and not just a woman, a young black woman. Like, did you ever have any difficulties asserting yourself, in the role that you were in, or did you ever feel that there weren't enough people like you represented, and how did you deal with those?
100%. The tech field is very male dominated. They all look the same, they all act the same. It's just how it is. But I think fortunately I was really lucky, especially in the role that I'm in now, but also in the role that I was in previously, is that my managers have always been really strong women. So in my role now, so in the legal team within the company that I work for, it's about 90% women. And before I started, they were known as the legal ladies because they were all women. They were all powerful women, and it's such a breath of fresh air because they hold so much importance within the company, and to see that they're women that's holding that much importance in such a male-dominated company, it's so refreshing to see and just to work with. But again, that being said, I am the only black woman within my team, and I was actually looking at this before our interview today. Within my whole company, there's only 44 black people. That's globally, so we have obviously globally. That's how. That's just how it is. That's how the tech field is. And then within the London team, there's only 2 black females, and I'm one of them.
Wow. And that's amazing, though. That you're there to almost pave the way for others out there as well. But also very. Do you feel like there's a lot of pressure on you as well,
as a black woman?
Yeah.
I think again, I've been really lucky. For my team and my manager, no. My manager really embraces me as a person and as a black woman. But I think, again, like I said, I'm lucky. I know for certain the other black female who works within the office, she's one of my close friends within the office. She has a completely different experience to what I have. But she works in like engineering, so she's that's where it's more male dominated. So I like I said, I'm really lucky, but not a lot of people have that experience, and that's something you just have to bear in mind. It is just the way it is. And I think I was really aware of that when I started my job. So I really did make sure that I was speaking up, like even like the first meetings, even if I didn't know what I was saying, I was making sure that I was just saying something that they needed to hear my voice. And I think,
and to get that respect as well.
Just that they sort of respect me as a professional.
I really like that. That's really inspiring, honestly. It's not easy.
It's really not.
Especially, as you said, as a young person, because it's not just the aspect of being a woman or even being black, also being young like in traditional, sectors like that. So I love that. Well done, you.
Thank you.
So my next question is, obviously in a lot of sectors, they really value work experience. A lot of people may do internship, placements, etc. So what would you recommend for someone who is in school right now? Where should they look to kind of get that work experience, that relevant work experience, or even whilst in university? Like, where can they get that so that they're able to land a good entry-level role with the adequate experience?
I think first and foremost, and I know this is going to sound really cliche, but your network is really your net worth. So just to take you back a bit, the job that I got now, I got through knowing someone who knew my manager, and my name was sort of dropped in conversation, and then the manager reached out to me directly.
Really?
So I know it's really difficult when you're in university because you don't really know that many professionals, but there are a lot of people in university that you can speak to. You can speak to your lecturers even if that's the case. Like, do you happen to know any internships, or do you happen to know any companies that are looking for certain people? And if they aren't, literally, I remember vividly before I actually got a first graduate job, I was just reaching out to different companies, just sending them out random emails, just explaining myself, saying this is my CV, if you've got any open vacancies, even if it's work experience, I'm happy to take unpaid work, just so I can get sort of that exposure. So I think that's one thing that you guys really need to bear in mind, that your network really is your network. So start there. Like, your next job could literally be in your phone book. You just don't know. In terms of just like recruitment channels and recruitment websites, it sounds really cliche, but there's not really like anything specific for the tech field. For the private practice field, it's like a whole process. So that's how you would land your training contract. You would do like vacation schemes. So you would do like a winter vacation scheme or a summer vacation scheme within a firm, and they will obviously like you, and then they will offer you a job afterwards. So for private practice, it really is just getting your applications for those vacation schemes really early, because they're really vital. If you want to go in-house, it's a little bit more, you have to go for the back road, like I said, because they're not as publicized, and it's a little bit more difficult. So private practice, get your applications for vacation schemes really early, and for in-house, just put yourself out there, literally, in every way that you possibly can.
But I guess it's true, like, I think I was told a lot in the last year, as you said, put yourself out there, speak to people. I even had a friend, she is more so in banking, and she had an experience where she applied for a role 2 years in a row, didn't get anything, and then all it took was for her to contact one person who dropped her name somewhere, and then suddenly they look at your application.
That's all it takes, just your name being dropped by the right person can literally hold so much weight.
And it's so interesting because obviously we talk about like the tech sector and how previously was more so traditional, now obviously it's evolving, and even like I think for a long time in like society we thought that things were based on like meritocracy, whereas now it's more so it's your connections. Your connections make a really big difference. And it's not to say they don't put like the right processes for people to apply. It's just you are a candidate with merit, but you also had that connection that puts your application on the map. So that's so interesting. And then just want to add as well, so if someone wasn't able to have any like vacation or any internships or whatever, does that mean they're lost cause? Or what other work experience?
No, 100%. Even just a retail job, because you can get so much transferable skills from any job that you're doing. So I would say get your foot in the corporate world. As quickly as you can, and in whatever avenue that you can. You can literally get an entry level job as like an admin assistant. If you're putting yourself forward once you're in that position, speak to your manager, there's this project that so and so is doing, I want to work on. You might end up going to work in marketing, going to work in the legal team. Just put yourself out there, try to get in the corporate world, and then literally from there it's up to you where you take it, really.
Okay, good. Thank you. And then I think that addressed my next question. So what are any foreseeable challenges that you see in pursuing a career in the law in tech sector?
One big challenge is that it sounds so cliche, but just the space that it's in, it's there's so much evolution, there's so much involvement, and until you're in that space, it's really difficult for you to know about it. So there's a lot of like data protection things that are changing, artificial intelligence and things like that. And if you're a graduate or if you're an individual that's never worked in tech, how am I supposed to know about those things? So I think another tip for you guys would be just to Google what's actually happening in the tech field. Because once you get in that job, they expect you to know these things. And these things are difficult things to understand. They're difficult concepts. So do your own sort of independent research when it comes to that. Another thing that's really evolving in the tech field, and I go, it's mainly a detriment, but it is, like you said, it's becoming more male dominated. It's really getting harder to get your foot in that door. I mean, it was hard before, but now it's really hard because tech isn't really publicized to females.
I know.
It's not really like made as like an option for like a female job, or especially like a black person. When you don't really get that in university, where they say that this is a possible option that you can do.
No.
So yeah.
And I suppose just to piggyback off what you've just said, actually. So that's one of the things that may push more women to shy away. Like, I think earlier we were talking about even your friend in engineering. So one of my masters was within the engineering department. And so that was, again, very male dominated, and you know, it almost makes you shy away because you're like, is this really the place for me? Is this just going to be a life of struggle?
Don't shy.
So yeah, what would be like your advice? Like,
don't shy. If it's honest, I'm telling you now, if it's something that you want, go for it.
Well, thank you for this advice, Joy. So moving forward, I have another question that I forgot to ask. So what do you love most about your job?
What I love the most about my job is that I'm really able to own my role. I have a lot of responsibilities, and sort of the internal stakeholders that I have are really quite high up. So I like report to like the CEO, CFO, all of that. And I think having that much sort of responsibility, it allows me to really show myself, sort of show myself within my role, but also show myself as just an individual. And yeah, that's what I really enjoy about my role: the ownership and the
Thank you. And I suppose the last question would be, especially obviously given the whole purpose of the series, what would be your advice to other young graduates out there, especially to the ones who are currently like looking for jobs and they're not necessarily as successful in getting into this particular sector? What would you say to them? And also, what's something that you have personally learned going into your field? And I think like you obviously touched upon that specifically for women, don't shy away was Joy's message, but generally for like everyone else, especially men included.
I would say first and foremost, just don't be disheartened, because the job market itself, it's very really saturated, and you're most likely going to get a lot of rejections, but that's not a reflection on who you are as an individual and also as a professional. It's just the circumstances. Literally, if you get rejection, allow yourself to be sad about it for maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and move on to the next one, because there's no point sort of dwelling in that sadness. It just means that job wasn't right for you. Just keep going, and trust me, you're going to find the right job that there is for you. And if you are sort of stuck in a place where you kind of have a degree, you don't really want to use that particular degree, don't be afraid to start again. Literally, it's you're never too old, you're never too young to literally say, okay, back to the drawing board, I want to do XYZ, how do I get to do XYZ?
Yeah, I love that. So yeah, I think that wraps up the interview today. So thank you so much once again for coming on the channel. And to anyone else who's just tuned in today for the first time, if you're not subscribed, then please consider subscribing. I have a new video every Wednesday with a new young professional talking about their experience getting into their field. And then please give this video a thumbs up if you haven't done so, just to show your support. And yeah, so we'll wrap it up. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye guys.
Bye guys.